IMSA family. It's another episode of our Get to Know. We're Get to Know the DragonSpeed team. Team principal Elton Julian almost made it to Formula One as a driver. Partner Henrik Hedman, a driver here as well. They've done huge things internationally in sports car, made it to the Indy 500. They're here now and have been doing big things in IMSA. We have our friend Elton Julian, proprietor, former race car driver. Can you ever be former? There's still something inside, but this guy here came up the junior open wheel ladder, immensely talented, moved into sports car driving, great friend and partner Henrik Hedman, this DragonSpeed team created here now, a real force in IMSA. That's nothing new. You've been doing big stuff elsewhere. We'll talk about that too, but in this Get to Know series, we want to get to know you and the team. So tell us about yourself, Elton. Where'd you grow up? Where did racing come into your life?
Yeah, great question. I mean, obviously, I've been born abroad in Las Palmas, Gran Canaria. My parents were a bit hippie-ish. They were traveling a bit. And I grew up in and around racing. My dad was a fan. And from the very beginning, I tried to race everything I could, whether it was running track, racing BMX, doing some motocross. And eventually, we got to a position where we could do a little bit of karting. Massive Formula One fan, massive Senna fan. So the dreams were always European-based. And we chased the dream. We chased it hard. We got darn close. Did a lot of running in F1 and did some testing, had a contract. They went bust and never had the chance. But ironically, that's what introduced me to sports cars. And it was right around the time the 333 SPs were running in America. And I'd just done all the testing in Europe for the LaRousse F1 car. Came back to Daytona, and a guy named Antonio Ferrari put me in one. And had an unbelievable result, finished second to the Kramer Porsche at Daytona that year.
The Euro motorsport team.
And I was hooked. And obviously, when you're so singularly focused on Formula One, let's say, as a young kid, you kind of bypass the whole sports car scene. And in a way, I was lucky that there was a stall in that part of the career that introduced me to this entire other side that's now, we've raced for almost 17 years. And, I've raised a family on it. Mechanics have raised families on it. People bought houses on it. There's some really good stories come out of the project.
LMPC in the American Le Mans Series was certainly a big part of leveling up there. Here in IMSA, known the team in prototypes mostly, right? Huge success at the Rolex 24. You got a lot of Rolex watches coming home from victories at the Rolex 24.
I don't have one.
Well, we'll work on that.
We've given away 12 though.
European racing though, LMP2 abroad, IndyCar as well. I mean, DragonSpeed has really been a force. Tell us about that side.
I basically have driven the team in a way that was kind of like I did my own, you would to a driver's driving career. So if you watch the progression of when we started and when we moved up to the next class and we moved up to the next class, it's generally been 2 or 3 years. Normally we've been able to either secure tremendous success or a championship. We did it with the Pirelli World Challenge, then we won the ELMS, then we jumped to P1 and IndyCar at the same time. Trying to find the graduation. We got, let's say, balked during the pandemic, which was a major setback for us. There went the IndyCar program. And then in a form of restructuring, we went back to P2, kind of found our feet again. We're lucky enough to win Le Mans with Henrik in the bronze class, which was fantastic. And that kind of brought us back stateside. But after doing P2 for about 8-9 years, I was really looking for a manufacturer-based championship. And Henrik being a Ferrarista, he was interested in buying the car last year. He did one race at Indy, and immediately we thought, okay, let's see what we can do about trying to make something special happen here. And we were lucky enough that he's afforded us the opportunity to give it a go, and here we are.
So another fun thing about what you and Henrik have done, P2 in particular was a great place. Boy, you bring in some fun drivers. Yeah. You had Colton Herta and Pato O'Ward as teammates.
And most importantly, we won with them.
Yes.
Because that was one of those weekends where there was no, like I said to Colton, there's only one way out of this weekend.
Devlin DiFrancesco as well, Eric Lux, Juan Pablo Montoya, his son Sebastian. You're always trying to bring some fun, some real talent to feature in IMSA. Tell me about that.
It might be a personal thing. Obviously, having been one, and as you alluded to earlier, never really goes away. So you really have a good feeling for who the guys are. It'd be easy, like when we have Davide, he's here thanks to Ferrari. That's a no-brainer with Davide Rigon. But to put together The lineups in P2 were ironically a little easier. Single-seater stars, it was obviously more obvious of who you were going to get. GT was a bit more complex. But to land with Giacomo and Albert has been fantastic. Not necessarily the two biggest names, but they tick all the boxes.
Talent-wise.
Talent-wise, is absolutely. And that totally kind of suits our punk rock style of racing anyway. So yeah, it works out. And it's a lot to do probably with me, and then eventually the team got a little notoriety for making fast cars, which also attracts talent.
Let's close on this. So, you have the most Italian of motor racing vehicles behind you, a Ferrari, prancing horse. Of course it's going to be Ferrari red. No, it's not. You're going to go Evel Knievel, this classic livery from DragonSpeed. Tell us about that, and also the dedication to GT. Coming down from P2 might be considered a change. You don't see this as a coming down. You see this as amazing opportunity in GTD. You want to stay here, you'll be back next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, racing is a business. And Pro-Am racing has been a very fruitful business for us. It's allowed us to build a platform to go do P1, to try to launch an IndyCar program. It's all been based on Pro-Am racing. It's our Pro-Am customer that's afforded us this opportunity. But it's a total misconception. I don't see it that way. Personally, I saw going to GT Pro as a major step up. I'm racing against Corvette. I'm racing against Ford. Actual Corvette and actual Ford. So I think that should be recognized. P2 is incredibly competitive. The teams are fantastic. But for the foreseeable future, GT is where we're going to be.
Evel Knievel, this livery, is this going to stay? Are we going to see more of this in the future?
It's been, what is it, 2014, we start with the Mercedes with the livery like this. No, end of 14 we had a Ferrari. It was never meant to be Evel Knievel. Once we were done with it, we looked at it and went, oh, well, we love that anyway. It doesn't hurt that Henrik is like the spitting image of Evel Knievel. But it's our brand. This is a variation off of it, I think, because on the P2 car, the real simplicity lends itself. I think for this car, it needed a little bit of an up. But that's for other more marketable people. And you'll see that what we do next year will continue to be based off this livery, and will make a lot of sense.
Watch us this season on NBC and Peacock. Be sure to subscribe to IMSA on YouTube and enjoy our brand new IMSA Endurance Hour podcast. And if you're interested in digital activation in motorsports, visit IMSA.com/partnership.